Hello there. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Here we do tarot readings for the collective, and today's reading is going to be about new adventures, planting seeds, taking a different path, and we're going to partly explore the fears that can come up around that sort of thing, because change can be quite scary. Trying something different can bring up a lot, and so this reading is going to explore those fears, but also your deepest hopes and desires, and hopefully will help you to gather the courage you need to start a new thing, a new project, maybe an internal journey. Something new, something different. Now, before we get into our session, I'm going to light a candle and set an intention. And I would also like to take a quick moment to ask you to please like, subscribe, comment, all of the good things to help support my work. And I would also ask you to consider booking a one-on-one tarot reading with me, which you can do through my website, craneandmoontarot.com, which will also be linked in the description box below. Thank you. So here we have our candle. It is a happy house blessing candle. It's the only one I had, so I'll be blessing my space at the same time. And you can imagine that carrying over into your space as well. Alright, so I invite you now to put a hand over your heart. Close your eyes if that feels good to you, or you could gaze into the flame here. Take a nice few deep breaths and we will begin. On behalf of your highest and greatest good and my own, we call upon sacred, benevolent guidance within us and without that is in perfect alignment for this tarot reading. May this reading be conducted only in our highest and greatest goods. May each card drawn bless us with its unique medicine, and may we be open and receptive to this healing guidance. May we gain the perspective needed to be present with what is, to tend what is calling for our tending, ever towards aligned and empowered growth. This we make true, and so it is. And today we are going to be using the Modern Witch Tarot deck, which I've been loving recently. If you aren't familiar, it hews very closely to the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, but it's been modernized and is much, much more diverse. So I think it would be a beautiful deck for beginners especially. And as always, I'll begin with a nice, good shuffle. And now, let us lay out the cards. I believe few of you really liked the feather, so thought I'd bring that back again. And we're going to be choosing 5 cards today. First card is going to represent the deep call of your soul. And while we're choosing these cards, I would like for you to bring to mind the situation, something new you would like to try, something that scares you a little bit. Maybe you've been feeling the call for a while and you've been putting it off. Or maybe you're just realizing now that this is something you really desire to do. And throughout this reading, if you can keep that desire in your mind. So Card number 2 will represent your deepest fear. What scares you the most about potentially starting this new thing, going on this new journey, this new adventure? The next card is going to help you hold and tend to that fear. And then we are going to pull a card that can tell us what joy and fulfillment might be possible if you were to take the first step to do the thing you are desiring to do. And the last card will be a message of love and support. Alright, let's see what we've got. Card number 1, the message, the deepest call of your very soul. We have the Death card. Card number 2, your greatest fear. The King of Wands. Card number 3, how you can hold that fear, is the King of Cups. Card number 4, the joy and fulfillment that can be available to you should you decide to do this thing. We have the 8 of Wands. And your message of love and support is the Empress. The very soul of you is desiring change. Is desiring to let go of what was and is no longer, and to find out what is now ahead of you. No wonder there is fear here. The Death card is, or can be, very intense. It asks us to embrace change and evolution. And we and it know that certain things will have to be let go of in order to move forward, in order for things to change and grow and evolve, and we cannot stop that from happening. The one thing about the death card is really, at the end of the day, it's going to happen whether you resist it or not. It is inevitable, completely unstoppable, a force over which we have very little to no control. Death comes for all of us, and I'm not talking about physical death, but there are parallels. Just as we have no control over our own mortality, so we have no control over our own evolution. We grow, we change. That is a fact of life. But despite any fear, something within you desires to dance with the death card, to let it shake loose that which is ready to be released, to let it take us to brand, shiny new places, places we might never even have imagined. Listen to the call of your soul. It will guide you through this rebirth. Now we have the King of Wands, your deepest fear. And King of Wands is a leader. The King of Wands, any king, is of service. They use their unique gifts to contribute to this very planet. And the King of Wands does this from their most authentic self, from their creativity, from their passions. And the fear I'm getting from this card is that you're afraid to show up as your full self, to be authentically you in a way that others can see, in a way that is very visible. It is an incredibly vulnerable position to be in. To bring your heart, your soul, your spirit to the work you want to do, and to risk it not being accepted, cherished, applauded even. To have people not get you, to misunderstand, to judge. But the King of Wands tells me, despite this fear, that is exactly the call. To be unapologetically yourself in a way that is beneficial to those around you, to your friends, to your family, to your community, to this very world of which we are all a part and which requires all of our service, all of our contributions. And despite this fear, when a king shows up, it tells me that there's a lot of growth and wisdom and experience behind it. You are ready to shine. And we have another king here to help us hold and tend to the fear surrounding the King of Wands. The King of Cups is a wise space holder, someone whose very heart, whose very emotions are food for their service, not something to be overcome, but something to be embraced as beautiful gifts. The King of Cups can hold your fears gently and with compassion, and can transmute them into strength. And when you've learned to do that, you will have even more to offer. The King of Cups says, do not be afraid of your fears. And we do that, don't we? It sounds a bit ridiculous, but sometimes the fear of the fear is worse than the fear itself. The King of Cups says any emotion you have, fear, sadness, anger, any emotion can be an asset if we learn to work with it. Maybe you can transmute that fear to help you become better at serving others. Maybe having gone through that fear, you can help others through it as well. Whatever this new adventure you're going on, it isn't just for you. It's for the well-being of all. And these two kings are showing up as wise parts of you that really want you to take the leap, to try the thing. You don't have to be perfect at it. You don't have to know what you're doing. You don't have to be the kings right away. You'll get there. But you truly do have something to offer here. And it would be a shame to let fear hold you back, especially when you have the capacity to hold it, because you are the King of Cups. You are the King of Wands. We are all of the court cards. Every single one lives within us. Some of them we have easier access to than others, but it is an energy that we absolutely can draw on, make friends with, strengthen our relationship to. Now, the Eight of Wands tells us what fulfillment and joy might be available to us if we take this new path, if we start this adventure. And this card tells me that there is great movement available to us through this new venture. It will help us to reconnect to our natural energetic flow. It will help us to see great change happen, partly through our own effort, but that effort will be used wisely so that we work smart and not hard. The Eight of Wands lets us know that the energy is there. It wants us to flow. It wants us to take this jump, and it will support us in that. These wands, they're already heading towards the ground. All we need to do is meet them there. And to do it in alignment with our energy. So, great movement, great change. Will be available to us in some way, shape, or form. And we will return to more authentic rhythm of working and being. We do not have to burn ourselves out in King of Wands and King of Cups. We don't have to work ourselves to the bone serving others. We can do it in a way where it gives energy back to us. Where we are not burnt out, but in fact fed by it. If you are worried that you don't have the energy for this adventure, the Eight of Wands wants to let you know that it'll work with you if you'll let it. And there will be great joy and fulfillment in watching the small steps you take have more impact than you ever could have imagined. Now, lastly, our words of guidance and advice and support. We have the Empress. And the Empress wants us to know that despite this call seeming to be one of service to others, through this new adventure we will also receive joy, receive comfort, maybe even material things, although who knows? I'm not one to try and predict the future, but this will fill us as much as we will give, maybe even more. And it is important to be open to receiving everything that this new adventure brings us. To be filled, again, as much as we give. The gifts of life, the Empress is fully present for. They know that it is as important to rest and enjoy the fruits of our labor as it is to work hard towards our goals. There must be a balance. And what is the point of working hard towards our goals if we don't enjoy the path to get there, and potentially also the very fruition of our desires, our hopes, our dreams? There is a quote by Mary Oliver, a line from one of her poems. Joy is not made to be a crumb. The Empress embodies that idea. Joy is not made to be a crumb. Joy is the very point of it all. So accept the gifts that come your way. Enjoy them. Be grateful for them. Be present for them. Well, that was your reading, dear hearts. I very much hope it gave you a little bit of courage to try something new, to go on an adventure, one that scares and also excites you. Again, I would just humbly like to ask you to like and comment on this video and to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as I mentioned in my last video, I am in the process of moving. Moving week is the last week of April, and I suspect that there will not be another video until the first week of May, so I hope you have a beautiful April. And I hope that I will see you again very soon.